Well, hello YouTube. How you guys doing today? How's that for a pretty view? Not too shabby, huh? Dam, spillway on the other side. Real pretty lake, isn't it? This right here is it's Fish Trap Lake. I'm on my way. Just say, whoa, that's loose. Stand up here. Lean on this one. And he ain't much better, so we won't lean on any of them. And the ducks flying across there. But anyway, got a really interesting story. Very interesting characters. Got something really cool to show you. And some absolutely amazing scenery will be in this video. Okay, now this here, we just crossed into Dickinson County, Virginia. So yeah, I've just crossed a whole state to bring y'all this story. Y'all feel free to click subscribe. Now the historical marker where we're going to, where I'm actually going to start, that part of the video is about 16 miles on up. So I've still got a little ways to go. But I did want to stop here just for a second to show you guys this place. It looks like a zip line platform right there. Now, I've been by here, but it's been a really, really long time. This is called Mill Rock Point Overlook. Mill Rock Point is so named because at one time millstones were carved from the layered sandstone at the base of this overlook. This area was known to have produced good millstones for the early water-powered grist mill when they were in operation. Elevation here 1,660 feet. Overlook, or 1,660 feet, sorry. Overlook elevation is 1,620 feet, so I got to go down about 40. And the river elevation is 1,000. I'm dyslexic today. 1,030 feet, and it says the overlook is 65 yards from here. So we got to go down some steps and check that out. Just kind of give you a hint of what's down there waiting for us. But we'll just check this one out on the way. I just thought I'd stop real quick. We'll take a look at Mill Rock Point. It certainly looks like a zip line platform. But this whole place is called the Breaks Interstate Park. And a little bit of information about Mill Rock Point. But we're mostly here for the view. The story's, like I said, 16 miles on up. Huh. Yep. She's a zip line, all right. No unattended access to zip line permitted. Huh. Area patrolled. Why can I not talk today? Area patrolled frequently. Violators will be prosecuted. Deck under surveillance. Well, apparently they are not playing. Let's see where it goes, though. We can see that much. We won't go up it, but we go take a look. How you get up there anyway? No, for real. How do you get up there? How do you get up on the platform? I guess they put steps here, or a ladder or something. Not sure what those are. Oh, I see the other one over on the other side of the mountain over there. You can see the line where it goes out to the other platform on the other side of the valley over there. So I guess you just kind of walk out to the edge and jump off, huh? How you get up there, though? That's what I don't get. How you supposed to get up on the platform? I'm guessing they have stairs they take out when they close it or something. Anyway, we'll go check out the overlook real quick. It's right there. They must have steps or something. Bring them in, set them up here or something. Who knows? I'm sure we've got a plan. Wow. Wow. Did I tell you this place was spectacular? Or did I tell you? Wow. Look at that. That is beautiful. You can see the river comes down right through there and turns through all these steep, jagged cliffs and just keeps right on going. You can see the mountains, the way the river goes. Look at those rocks over there. My God, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. You can see the river way down in the valley. And this is just one spot here on it. There's more. We're going to be hitting more. There's several of these here, and he owned all of this. Imagine that. That's a lot of land, ain't it? But I guess that's how they did it back in the day. You know, you kind of go into a new area, and anything you can mark, anything you can maintain, whatever it is, as big as it is, it's now yours. I remember my mom talking about her grandparents doing that, notching trees, and owned everything inside the notches. Simple as that. Look at that. What is that? Oh, it's a big old crow, ain't it? Yep. Big black crow right there. You can hear him a little bit. He's just cruising, ain't he? Riding the updrafts coming up from the valley. He ain't flapping. He's just riding the updraft. Look at that, circling. How cool is that? If you notice, he just barely flapped them wings. He's riding that wind, the updraft coming up out of that valley. That is cool, ain't it? You can see where some kind of road or something has been cut out right there. Of course, that's probably old logging road from 100 years ago. I'm wondering how they got that gristmill stones back out of there, if they're getting them at the bottom of this base. Oh, I bet that's what that was. I bet that comes down here and comes in at the base of this. I bet they took them gristmill stones up that way. I wouldn't doubt it a bit. Man, that is a spectacular view though, isn't it? Okay, on to the next one. We've still yet got a little ways to go, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to show you today. This is the longest 16 miles I have ever been down.
Sharp left turn onto Hideaway Road.
I suspect Siri is trying to kill me. We'll find out here in a minute. I think Siri
in 3/4 of a mile, arrive at 1839 to 1999 Hideaway Road.
I think Siri's trying to get me lost out in the middle of the woods somewhere and kill me. We got into that fight that time, and I don't think she's got over it yet. And I don't think this is right. We'll find out, won't we? We'll go look. I think I know. I thought I knew where we were going, but Siri disagrees. So we're gonna see what Siri knows. We're gonna find out. I think she's crazy. Well, I was right. Siri was trying to kill me. That was a dead end. I went 23 miles past where I thought it was, listening to Siri, and she got me way out here, and there's no cell service or anything like that, so she don't want to tell me how to get back now. So it's all Leo's navigational skills from here back till we get cell service. We'll find it on our own. We are back on track. We're back in the Breaks Park, and we are at one of the other overlooks I wanted to show you guys. Now this one is called Towers Overlook. I've been here before. It's beautiful, beautiful place. There's an unbelievable view right down here, and we're going to head down there in just a second. The formation of the breaks. About 200 million years ago, this area was covered by a vast inland sea, which caused layers of sediment, mud, and sand to be formed and hardened. Later, forces under the surface pushed these layers upward, forming parallel ridges. Although erosion slowly wore those ridges flat, a second upheaval created the present height and appearance of the land. The wearing away is a continuous process that can be seen from the overlook as the Russell Fork River keeps cutting through the rock to deepen the canyon even more. Elevation here, 1,730 feet. Now we're going to walk down here. I've been down here before. It's a little bit of a walk, not too bad. According to that, to the overlook, it's about 75 yards. So he's not far. He's just right down here. And look, there's another zip line too. Couple trails here and there. But yeah, man, don't trust Siri. She's nuts. If you think you know where you're going and she says someplace else, check your place first. Go with your gut. You know that old saying, first instinct's usually right. Well, there you go. Wow, check that one out. You can see the other platform over there. That is cool, isn't it? Deck under surveillance, no unauthorized access. I guess they don't want you to come up here zip lining on your own, huh? I like these old rocks. You can tell where they've been carved to make stairs and placed. Some of them, some are natural. There's the towers. Check out that view, guys. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Beautiful, isn't it? We'll walk on down since we're this close anyway. There's several of these overlooks. The place it's huge. It's a massive area, and there's just, like I said, overlooks. There's several of them, like this one. But man, look at that. That is beautiful, isn't it? And that's the towers right across there. See the zip line going from up there, going across to another zip line tower right over there. Wow. Look at that, guys. Look at that water down there, that white water. I bet there's some really good fishing holes down in there. Cuts through that deep cliff. Just sheer rock cut right out with water. Cut right through the rock. It's kind of hard to imagine, isn't it? I mentioned that's part of my tour about Pangea, about how, you know, about the inland sea, and then when the ground sunk and it gets saturated, when it gets to sea level, peat bogs start to form. They sink all the way to the bottom of the ocean. Then Pangea forms and pushes it all back up and makes all these mountains and stuff. Beautiful, isn't it? Just, you know, natural processes. It's amazing, isn't it? Just, I mentioned once before, dirt rocks, trees, and water. But man, if you mix them right, they're really spectacular, ain't they? Beautiful, beautiful place. Beautiful time of year to visit too. Trees all different colors. Still a little bit of green here and there. Not a whole lot. There's some pines over on top of the towers. It's wild, isn't it? You can see all kinds of like old growth hardwoods and stuff. You start to get up near the top, you can see some pines up near the top. Just little pine grove there. Look at that pine grove growing on the side of a cliff. Anyway, all right, I'm going to take a look at the sign. The towers. The unusual formation before you is a good example of the effect of that erosion has upon different types of rock. Sandstone, a hard, resistant rock, caps the top of the towers, as well as most of the other ridges here, while a softer, easily weathered rock shale is the lower material. The flowing river slowly wore away areas of sandstone in its path to expose the soft shale below, which was quickly eroded. In this manner, the river was able to cut almost vertically downward, leaving the hard rock caps and steep-walled canyons behind. Elevation here, 1680. Towers elevation, 1665. Wow. Look at that pine growing right outside of a cliff, man. And that is a long drop to the bottom. He better not grow much further, huh? He goes out, gets heavy, he's going down. All right, moving on to the next spot. How about that though? Is that not cool? Beautiful day too. A little bit warm out in the sun. I left the house, it was like 40 something. I'm gonna guess 65, something like that, about 60, maybe 65. But a little bit warm, you know, you're climbing up and down hillsides, climbing stairs and junk. Look at that, imagine that river all the way up here a couple 100 million years ago, and gradually cut out all of this to make that valley. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Well, I just wanted to show y'all something real quick. Now, I'm right here in the breaks. I'm still at the Towers Overlook, and I just wanted to do something, just test a theory. The state line overlook's only a few miles from here. I told Siri to take me to the state line overlook, right? You would think that'd be pretty simple, wouldn't you? Guess what? Hang on, let me zoom it back out so I can show you something. A little more. This crazy cow's taking me to Canada, to Ottawa, Canada. See what I mean? You can't trust Siri. You do this stuff on your own. Do not trust her. She's trying to take me on it. She just took me on a 46-mile wild goose chase. Now she wants to take me on a 652-mile wild goose chase. Sorry, Siri. We ain't doing that. Check this one out. It's another overlook beside the road. This one here doesn't even have a name. There's so many of them, I guess we couldn't bother with naming all of them. But check that out. You can see the layers of the rock going all the way down to the river. See a train track way down in the valley. You can see a train track down in there too. But how pretty is this? State line, the one I'm looking for, one I'm headed for, is right down there, a little ways. I just thought I'd stop here for just a second. Like I said, there's one right over there where I was at just a minute ago. And we've still got a little ways to go. We've still got a couple stops. I just thought I'd stop here for just a second, kind of look over the hill, see what it looked like. Pretty, isn't it? The rhododendrons just everywhere. Pine trees, beautiful place. Beautiful place. Okay, now this one is the one that I was wanting to come to. This is the State Line Overlook. You can see, well, I'll just show you. I don't want to say it. Elevation is 1,764 feet at this overlook. This is, my opinion, this is probably the prettiest one here. I mean, there's literally, no joke, a dozen really cool overlook sites here. And in my opinion, this is got to be one of the prettiest. This is one of them. Okay, now, little history here for you guys. Over 300 million years ago, the North African and American continents collided during the Alleghenian orogeny, O-R-O-G-E-N-Y, originally. Mountain building event is what it refers to, resulting in the formation of the Appalachian Mountains. The landscape before you is the result of 250 million years of erosion after the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea I mentioned earlier. Excuse me, sorry. You are standing at the northernmost terminus of the Pine Mountain Overlook, Russell Fork Gorge, the Breaks. Pine Mountain extends for 125 miles southwest of the Breaks and is one of only 3 water gaps in the northwesternmost linear ridge of the Appalachians. Russell Fork is preferentially eroded, broken, and fractured rocks along the Russell Fork Fault, which here intersects with the Pine Mountain Fault. The leading fault of the Pine Mountain overthrust, thus appearing to break through Pine Mountain. Virginia and Kentucky coalfields lie to the south and north respectively. The Virginia-Kentucky border follows the crest of Pine Mountain, but to the northeast from this point. Native Americans used the gorge and adjacent gaps for passage for over 10,000 years for hunting, foraging, and nut gathering, and weir trap fishing, though no permanent settlements existed due to the rough terrain. Daniel Boone and his hunting party passed through this area in 1767, the first time he set foot in what would later be the state of Kentucky. Settlers lived by subsistence farming, preferring arable flat land such as Potter Flats. I'll show you when we get down here. It's right on the other side of that little valley. In the river bend below you, but also farming steep slopes were possible. Corn was the crop of choice, both for human and animal consumption, and to make potent moonshine. Yeah, boy, that was real popular back in the day. Beginning in the late 1800s, timbering and coal mining supplanted farming and continue to this day. Wow, check that farm out. What a view. Wicked view. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you today?
I can't complain.
It's a beautiful day. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now this is, like I said, in my opinion, this is the pretty one. And this is the one where you can actually see what's what and things like that. You can see the land, you know, that we're talking about, in particular, the Potter land. Richard owned all of this at one point. Could you imagine? Could you imagine owning all of this? That is wild, isn't it? Now, I'm going to show you, it's a map real quick, just to kind of give you an idea. We've been to the unknown soldier's grave. State Line Overlook. From this vantage point, you are standing in Virginia and looking into both Kentucky and Virginia. In a northwesterly direction, you're looking directly into the Potter's Flats. That's right down here. Pine Mountains begin here and run in a southwesterly direction for approximately 125 miles. The roads that you are viewing is Kentucky State Route 80, which runs by the park entrance. The main boundary line for the two states follows the the crest of Pine Mountain to the southwest, your left. The state line, orange, right there, is indicated on the map below. Elevation here is 1760. River elevation at state line is 840. And as you can see, we're right up in, well, we're right in there, actually looking that way. And as you'll see here in a second, when I get over there, you can see the river turn, and you'll see the Potters Flats. Take a look at that, guys. This is Potters Flats right here, directly across from us. Back in the day, there's a road now. Back in the day, I'm told you had to wait till the river was down and cross the river to get to it. But could you imagine? I mean, just take a gander. Take one gander. I'm going to go all the way around, okay? Now, just about everything you've seen today was Mr. Potters, except for the, you know, the 46-mile wild goose chase. But all of this, could you imagine owning something like that? That much of something that beautiful. And you can see the train going down in through the valley there, way down in there by the river. That is beautiful, isn't it? Kind of walk over here. There's a pretty view off this side too. I remember Heather and I came over last February 28th for my birthday. We had birthday cupcakes right here. If I think about it, if you think about it, put a picture up real quick of the little cupcake sitting here in the view. I think it was this one. No, I believe it was this one. Yeah, it was this one right here. I was thinking it might have been that one, that little post, but it was over here. Beautiful view. How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Heck of a view, isn't it? But you can see a lot of the natural rock, and they just kind of went around it and, you know, filled in a couple little spots here and there with cement, just to keep anybody from, you know, getting a little bit too close to the edge. Because that is not an edge. That's not the kind of edge you want to fall off of. We'll just put it that way. Let's see what this looks like over here. Like I said, could you just imagine all of this? All of it is yours. I don't know if you guys remembered this, but at the beginning of the video I said that I had something really cool that I wanted to show you guys today, and this is it right here. Now we just got this. I just got this about a week ago from a company called iHood, and they made these and they sent this to us to, you know, try out and review, tell you guys what we thought about it, how it worked, all that sort of stuff. Now this coat, I don't know, this is a heated coat. Now this is an exceptionally, I have several of these. I have 2 heated vests, I have heated boot insoles, I have heated socks, I have heated gloves, and I have another heated coat similar to this one in camo. But this one does have several advantages over all of my other stuff. For one, this is waterproof. It's not only heated, insulated, this puppy is waterproof, guys. And we'll put a link, we'll have a link in our description. I've had this out twice. I've used it twice. I used it this morning, and the other day I tried it out a little while. But I mean, just look at the zippers. You can tell, I mean, the quality, look at that. Water's not going to get into that. You know, it's not going to get in your pockets and get your pockets wet and get your stuff wet and all that. Another thing I like about this is, you know, my other heated equipment, and, you know, I know a lot of our trail riders on the tours, you know, they've never heard of heated clothing. So I'm guessing that some of you probably haven't heard of this stuff either. But now this thing right here, this is really nice. Most of these you'll have, you know, like the heat, for example, in the back. Now, say if you're trail riding, all right? If you're trail riding, you're in your, you know, you're in your driver's seat, right? Everywhere else is nice and warm except for your back. Your back is blistering hot, okay, because of the seat, you know, because of the seat itself trapping the heat. This thing has heating zones. You can heat the neck area up in here, you can heat the back, or you can heat the front. And they're all individual, like the neckline, which I don't have the battery connected right now, but you push the neckline and hold it, and that one comes on. You push the back, that one comes on. You push the front, that one comes on. And you can control the heat zones independently. This also, it has a much better battery than the one that we paid, quite frankly, a lot more for. We paid a lot more for my other one. And it is, guys, it is no joke. It is not as good as this. This is really nice. This is really affordable. And they are really, really warm. Okay? But you've just got, it's a little compartment right here. And right there's your battery. And, you know, it has a little indicator. I don't know if you can see it in this bright sunlight. It says 100, but it's fully charged. But you just have a little cord, and you just plug it up and turn your heat on as needed, and you've got hours and hours and hours and hours of heat. This is a 14.4. This is a good sized battery. You know, most little chargers and stuff, they'll come, you know, and they're nowhere near quite that much, you know. So it's good power, and it's 12 volt too. It's a little 12 volt battery. So yeah, it puts out tons of heat, works really well, and it's insulated. And like I said, guys, this is waterproof. So when you get out in the winter time, in the cold weather and the wet and the snow and all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you guys, this is what you need. This is absolutely what you need. And it looks really good too. You know, you can't really see it laying here. But I mean, my other one's camo, you know, camo. I love my camo, don't get me wrong, I love my camo. You can't always wear camo everywhere. You can't go camoed out everywhere you go. Am I right? People think you're nuts. But, you know, hey, basic black, brother. Basic black goes with anything, you know. I very much like it. It is incredibly warm, incredibly comfortable. And, guys, if you get one, I 100% guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, you will love it. It's called an iHood. Now this right here is just a little stop along the way back at their office, the little information center here. And they have some old gristmill stuff, moonshine stuff, and some other stuff. Farming equipment. We've got some old plows sitting out here. Different types. Look at that thing. It looks like some kind of cedar, doesn't it? Like that opens it up and then drops the seed. I'm guessing that's what it is. Wild looking, isn't it? But that's the still right over there. Check this out. You guys will like this. Little hillbilly culture for you. There's a few things here. Oh, they got the mill's closed. They got the door closed. Oh well, I know they got I think they had a big millstone in there. But this is a moonshine still, guys. In case you never seen what one looked like. There's your stove. There's your furnace, thump keg, worm gear. See how the worm goes in there? It condenses. That's cool, ain't it? But you build your stove. That's where the art to making moonshine is the fire. You know, a lot of people don't know that, but the art part of making moonshine has to do with the fire, because water evaporates at one temperature, alcohol evaporates at one temperature, water evaporates at a slightly higher temperature. So you have to be right in the middle to make the alcohol evaporate, but not the water. So you have to be really close. You have to be really good, put it that way, with your fire. You have to know how much of a fire you need, basically, for whatever vessel you're using, you know, to heat. You need to know what it's going to take to get it to that point. And a lot of them these days, they use, you know, it's electric, and, you know, you just set a temperature gauge and it does it automatically. But the old school moonshiners, they did it by hand, and it was just a matter of adjusting by adding a piece of wood or not adding a piece of wood. Cool, huh? But there's more information right here about the steel, and I'll just kind of look it over. If any of you want to pause it, it's a little bit too much to stand here and read all at once. Let me see where I can get this about right. Y'all can pause or zoom or whatever y'all need to do. It just goes on to about making a run of moonshine. In a run, 1 bushel of corn will produce 3/4 to 1.5 gallons. If sugar is used, 1 bushel will produce 6 gallons. I remember when I was little, when I was a kid, my stepdad, he used to cook it off right in the kitchen. He took a pressure cooker and put a copper tube, a worm like that, and we had a double bowl sink. The first bowl had ice in it. The second bowl just had a jar. He ran it out, you know, through the ice and then over the faucet, and he just set a jar underneath the faucet and, you know, dump ice in this side where the coil was, and then, you know, it comes out, it's pure moonshine. It's pure alcohol comes out the other end. And he'd cook it off right in the kitchen. He made really good moonshine from what I'm told. I never drunk none of it, but I was too little at the time. But I know all his buddies from work were constantly up there bumming him. I know that much. Early settler's cabin. Let's see. Early settlement. Wow, look at that. A tomahawk and a bow. For over 10,000 years, Native Americans used the breaks for seasonal foraging and hunting, with more permanent settlements near the Ohio River to the north and the New and Tennessee rivers at the south. But it goes into a lot more detail, you know. Y'all can, like I said, y'all can pause if you want to check it out or anything, if y'all want to read all of it. But I wanted to show you the cabin. And check this out. This is old school settler's cabin. You moved in here back in the day, you cut that stuff out of the mountains and you built yourself a little shack about like this. Now, if I remember right, the door used to be open on the back where you could look in, and it's been a while since I've been here, so we'll see. She's closed now. Yeah, she's closed. But look at them logs. Look how those are cut. It's actually a little bit fancier. A lot of them, they just did it like that and had a little bit hanging out, but I guess some did that. And the chinking, the concrete, that was fancy back in the day. Most people used mud, moss, something like that. I showed Mom the hog trial cabin, and that was the first thing she mentioned. This was a rich man's house. How can you tell that? She said concrete in between the logs. Rich people had concrete. Everybody else used mud. Cool, huh? Not very big. Just guessing. Let's see. Guessing. 20 by 20, if that. If that. The piers are actually pretty fancy too. Most of these, which I'm guessing those been replaced later. Most of those just had old stones cut like the porch, like that right there. Just an old stone cut to a square shape, and then use that to sit underneath the cabin to hold everything up. Pretty, isn't it? Could you live in that, guys? 20 by 20 out here now. Could you live in something like that? It'd be rough, wouldn't it? 20 foot by 20 foot. All you got's a fireplace. I know it sounds romantic, but now I can tell you from experience, them fireplace is a lot of work. Okay, on to the next spot. We got some shingles and stuff, getting ready to do some repairs on it. Got some shingles and shakes. We're getting ready to put a roof on it, ain't we? Yep, we're getting ready to redo the roof, no doubt. That's cool though. I like old stuff like that, you know, old cabins and things like that. I think that's just really cool. And you can tell that thing has been there a long time. Someone probably lived in that at some point. Okay, moving on. We still ain't got to the main one yet. The one the whole point. The one that Siri ran me all those miles out of my way to go find. But we're close. I'm pretty sure I know where it's at. Okay. Next. This is the guy that I've been talking about all day long. The man I've been looking for since this morning. Richard Potter. Born Valentine's Day. It's Mom's birthday. February 14th in 1792. Passed away December 29th in 1882. This is the final resting place of Richard Potter, who came to these mountains from North Carolina as a young man. He worked as a farmer, distillery operator. He did a little bit of moonshine time too. And a herb doctor. He lived in present maintenance area. That means, you know, this area here, you know, the park itself. He lived in the present maintenance area with his wife, Teeny Ramey, and their 10 children. Yes, you heard me right. 10 children. Y'all know how that goes, y'all, right? They didn't have TV back in the late 17s and early 18s. Poof, you got 10 kids. Anyway, he lived there with his first wife, Teeny Ramey, and their 10 children. Later, with his second wife, Polly Wallace, he owned a large section of land, which included all of the Breaks Interstate Park. Many of his descendants still inhabit the area. This guy had land holdings like you would not believe. And he's buried right here, right in the main park. That's the main entrance. You come in, you go by the Towers Overlook, you go on up, State Line Overlook is on up this way, and he is buried right here, right beside shelter number 1. There is the man himself, Richard Potter. Wild, isn't it? We'll see you, Richard. Rest in peace. But the whole place everywhere here is just really nice, really pretty. At the lake, you can see the lake down there. Lake Trail goes right down here. Lakeside Trail, sorry. Goes right down here, and you can go down. That little, this is a handicapped overlook for the little amphitheater down here. And they have shows and stuff like that from time to time, you know. How cool is that? I bet you when Richard owned this place and lived here, I'll bet you he didn't see any of this coming. You know, that his place, his house, his land, you know, would be a huge part But anyway, like I said, I wanted to bring you guys out here and introduce you to Richard Potter and show you his little wonderland. What'd you think? That's pretty damn cool, is it not? All right, guys, we'll see y'all later. We'll see y'all next time on the Hillbilly Files. This is Leo from the Breaks Interstate Park Lines. Leo out. See y'all later.